Hello and welcome back. That's right. It's me, Coach FreeLove again, and you, our lovely viewer. We really appreciate you joining us on our Firestorm Freerunning Acrobatics YouTube channel for all of our live streams and for all of our tutorials and for all of our nonsense videos, for all the cool fun stuff that we do. So, we just want to shout out you, the viewer. Thanks, guys. If you want, you can go ahead and leave a like or a comment, or you subscribe to the channel even, or you can hit that notification bell so that way you know when we're releasing content as it's coming out. You guys can keep up with it. We are currently doing a bunch of classes, as you guys may already know. You're here for parkour today. That specifically is going to be parkour number 28. That's right, we're almost to parkour episode 30. We have done quite a lot. It's been a very ambitious class time. I really am, seriously, genuinely, I appreciate the fact that you guys have all stuck around for as long as you have. So, we're going to go ahead and jump in with some of our requested workout stuff. We've had a little bit of a request to step back and practice some more of our vault technique and to do some workouts that are oriented around the vault technique. So, we're going to go on ahead and do so. Making sure that we have plenty of clear space so that we can warm up and mobilize before we get into that. I have moved all of my furniture, not all of it, but the majority of it, so that way I have a great enough amount of space that I can move comfortably through. Right? No cats or anything. They're all in their own room taken care of. And that means that I should be ready to get started. So, getting started for today's, again, vault parkour class. Just kind of going over a few of the things that were requested of me that are things that were from the start of our series. So, we're going to go on ahead and just jump on in there. Slightly widened stance. I'd say about 1.5 your shoulder width if you've got it. And we're going to start with a good tall spine, making sure that we don't let that spine fold or bend over. We're going to bring our chin to one shoulder. And we're going to bring it down and across our chest to the opposite shoulder. And again, not letting my body fall or break its posture. Moving through and up, down, through, and up, down, and across. Keep it going, guys. Very good stuff. Just a few more. All right, very cool. So, we're going to move into our shoulders now. Just starting with a shrug and hold. We're going to go ahead and lift up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Release. We're going to pinch our shoulder blades back and elbows towards each other behind us. So hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Good. Come on out of that pinch. We're going to go ahead and take our arms now, reach them out in front of us. Invert our hands so it's thumbs up to thumbs down. Backs of hands are towards each other. We're going to cross one over. Really tightly clasp those hands together. I thought you were put away. And go on ahead and tightly shrug those arms out forward. Lift them up and above to your head. And hold them there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good. Release and release. Good. We're going to go back into our shrug once more. So shrug up. Hold that for 10 seconds. And I want you to remember specifically which hand crossed over. I crossed right over left. We're going to get back there in just a moment. So hold that for 3, 2, 1. Cool, that's the last of our 10 there. We're going to go and do that reverse pinch again. So pinch back and there for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good. And like I said, remembering which hand we crossed over with. I crossed right over left last time. I'm going to cross left over right now. And I'm going to reach back up for that 10 seconds and this twisted reach. So, twisted reach. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0 for the release. Oh, nice. I'm gonna just kind of lean my head out side to side, roll it out a little bit, sideways and back and forth. All right, my shoulders are definitely warm. I feel that in my traps, I feel that in the actual shoulder itself. Very good. We're going to continue with our elbows and our wrists now. So keeping that stance wide, arms out into a T pose. We're going to go from T pose to cactus arms, and then from cactus arms in towards our chest, then all the way down and under our elbow with our hand. Following that circle and that smooth and controlled way. Ideally, we can use a reflective surface to kind of mind our form and to watch ourselves and to see, oh, my elbows are starting to drop, or oh, my elbows are too high. You want to keep your elbows at about the height of your shoulder, and then try and get your hand to circle around that. And let's go the opposite direction. Always mindful of our breathing. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Go ahead and drop those arms and clasp those fingers together again. We're going to roll our wrists out. I like to use the washing machine method for this. So we're going to do a few circles one way and then a few circles the other way. Going back and forth, similar to your washing machine. Good. And let's go the opposite direction. And back and forth, like we said, kind of washing machine style. Just want to make sure you mobilize those wrists appropriately. Like I said, today's going to be kind of like a vaulting day. So we're going to be on our hands, pulling ourselves across the floor a little bit. As you guys can see, I don't actually have my yoga mat today. I'm going to be without the mat, just kind of visualizing the space on the floor and pushing to travel across that with my vault. So good. Upper body is pretty much all taken care of. We're going to move into the torso just a little bit further. Keeping that straddle at that 1.25 or 1.5 your shoulder width, that's good and all, but we're going to try and widen it out just a little bit more. If you guys can go 2 times your shoulder width, that's a great place to be. From there, we're going to do a slow but rhythmic torso twist, where we're going to get nearly to our maximum or all the way there, and then bounce and come back across the twist. Right? Not a momentum twist, but like a slightly faster muscle twist, where I'm not focused so much on twisting to my max, but instead just keeping the twist as a singular flowing movement to left to right. And I'm not doing that with momentum. That is very much my torso contracting, causing me to turn and to look. So that way I'm articulating that back and body muscle to create that little twist. Good. Now the difference would be our momentum twist, where we drive with our arms and cause our body to twist as like a aftermath of the powerful drive for our arms. So momentum twist. That's where I feel more often than not my decompression. You know, those little pops or clicks in your back and your spine. Whew, very good stuff. So, vast majority of the upper body and torso are taken care of. Moving down just a little bit lower into, well, our side of our hip and oblique, and then also we're going to go into the front of the hip flexor. So we're going to keep this straddle nice and wide. We're going to be mindful of the space over here to the side of me, the scooch over. I'm going to be going up and over with what I like to refer to as windshield wipers. So we're going to start by nice vertical reach. We're going to go down side to side, up and over the top just like that. And I like to go one hand down, second hand will go further in towards the foot. So I do end up turning you into this flat back position. So for those of you that are curious, I'm not staying sideways, I'm turning, and my chest ends up pointing down at the bottom of this movement. So the arms are going to come up and over just like windshield wipers on a car. Good. Okay, we're going to slowly bring our feet back in just a little bit and keep a fairly wide stance. Squat down, drop the hips down, put the hands to the inside of the knee. We're going to go side to side with a few side-by-side lunges. If you can, get that leg all the way to straight on either side as you go from side to side. Nice. We're going to stop with the side to sides and sit in the middle just for a moment. Chest is up. Hold your balance, keep your hips down. And let's stand on up out of that. And walk ourselves back together with our feet, slow bit by slow bit. Perfect. So, now we're going to move onto our knees just a little bit more. The side to side lunges are great for the hips and the hip flexor and the knee, but we're going to do a few knee circles and then a few ankle circles. So, keep those feet and knees together, tight squat, and circle them around. I'm going to go with that washing machine method for my knees today. Going back and forth with the knee circle, just kind of swinging them around. Very good stuff, guys. Very nice. Looking good, I can tell. I promise. All right. It's false promise. I'm sorry. Good. We're going to go ahead and stand on up. Walk it out in place just a few paces. And then, very shallow lunge. There it is. That's it. Little tiny lunge. Lift the heel and roll the ankle out. And again, continuing that washing machine method for my ankle roll. I'm going to roll it back and forth a few circles here and there. Nice. Don't forget the opposite side. And like I said, washing machine style, so we go both directions with that ankle roll. Nice. Alrighty. So, ankles rolled, knees are rolled, circled, legs, hips, torso. Well, that's pretty much everything, guys. Good, we've done it. We managed to do it all. So, we should be effectively mobilized at this point. Keyword is should be. Some of you may have a little bit more tension in parts of your body. You may need to stretch out or mobilize a little bit more. That's okay. Feel free to pause this and then go on ahead and do the rest of your mobility as you may need for your own body. We're going to jump into a very, very light, very slow and controlled burpee warm-up. So we're going to drop down into that push-up position. And then from that push-up position, we're going to hold a half push-up. And then we're going to press up. And then we're going to stand up and do a jump. But we're going to take our time down and through this series of movements. Like I said, it's a warm-up, right? So I'll start with my jump. Down. Half. Up. And jump. Then back down. And half. And up. And jump. And back down. Nice and slow. Very rhythmic. Half. And up. And jump. And back down. And half. And up. And jump. And back down. And half. And up. And jump. And back down. And half. And up. And jump. We're going to rest there for a second. Catch our breath. We're going to widen our stance here. Do a few side-to-side lunges. Once, and then twice. Just like that. Right and then left. Or left and then right. Your personal preference is okay. But I do not want you staying low through the movement. I want you to come all the way up, then go all the way down. You should not be down here doing your lunges like so. Okay? So from up high, down, and back, and down, and back. Down, and back, down, and back. Keep it going. Keep breathing. Yes. Casual dip and press. Dip and press. And dip and press. That's it. Just a little movement. Good. We're going to go back into that rhythmic, slow sort of burpee with the half rep. So just please keep in mind, I want you to go at your own pace. Okay, guys? Starting with that jump again. Up and down. That half rep. And up. And jump. And down. Half and hold. And up. And jump. And down. And half and hold. And up. And jump. And down. And half and hold. And up. And jump. And down. And half and hold. And up. And jump. And down. And half and hold. And up. And step on up and out of it. Woo. Okay, guys. Slow, deep breathing. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good posture. Chest up. Elbows up. This works. This, slouch with your shoulders up and your chest down. This does not. So we're trying to avoid this slouched punch position, this big bad. Instead, pick ourselves up, open our chest out by pulling our arms open. This gives your lungs and your chest cavity more room to expand. Bigger, deeper breath. And you can catch your breath faster because you're doing bigger breaths instead of bunches of little ones. But you can imagine making the body force a bunch of little breaths out is still hard work and it will keep you exhausted. So if you can force yourself to slow down your breathing, you'll force your body to return to a normal condition faster. Guys, go get your water. Come on back. Do some vaults. Yeah. Thick. All right, guys. Woo. I know I sure needed that drink of water. The warm-up and mobility portion of the class is, really got me. So, now, like I said, we're talking about vaults today. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down from like the very first vault that I highly recommend anybody know how to do, and it's your safety vault, right? You just, best way that I can practice this vault is by starting and walking into it, by stepping forward. More often than not, we step forward with our dominant leg. When I ask you to step forward, you'll do it with your dominant leg. Use your opposite hand place that equilaterally across from that foot, imagining that there's almost like a band, a rubber band, that's strapped from your hand to your foot. You have to step up and over that band and step yourself forward and through. That's your safety vault, right? I'll do it again for you. Now, do try to keep yourself facing forward as best as possible, right? I am stepping forwards and reaching with my hand slightly outturned. This helps to, relieve me of some pressure on my wrist. So if my hand is straight forward, I find I accidentally compress my wrist a bit. So I turn my hand outward, press that palm as flat as I can into whatever my obstacle is, and when I lift that foot to go forward, I'm trying to step out forwards and through. Now, down low with no obstacle, this can prove to be a bit challenging. Some of us have something in our house like the little ottoman that is on the end of your couch. Sometimes you'll have an actual vault box or a block that's in your backyard. That's always very awesome. If you have those options, those opportunities, capitalize on that. Do so, please. Practice vaulting over that instead of your imaginary obstacle.
You got a couple shout outs. Ronan Siedenberg, I'm guessing. You got Coach Aaron Wade, and then you have G.D. DeAndre Moore.
I wish I could tell you I knew right off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
He says,
but
he knows you.
What's good? Good looking out. I really appreciate all the shout outs. It's fun. It helps me to know that what I'm doing actually is worth it. Trust and believe. So, thanks guys. Now, safety vaults, where I was at. We're going to make sure that we practice this on both sides too. If you step forward when I asked you to step forward, like I said, it's probably your dominant foot. Let's use our non-dominant foot. That for me is my left foot. So I'm going to step my left foot on forward. I'm going to out-turn my right hand, kind of taking this pointed upward sort of finger. Instead, I point it out at like a 45-degree angle. That's how I know my hand is in good placement when I'm grabbing onto my obstacle. So keep that 45-degree angle in mind. I'm going to put that hand down and then step forward and through, right? Just like that. Now, we can make this workout way cooler, way more like an actual workout by putting it together and putting it together in a little bit fuller of a speed. So we're going to step forward, dominant side, safety vault forwards, and then come back backwards. I don't want you to stand up at the end though. Leave your hand down that whole time. So we're going to step, hand, step through, step back, then we can pop back up. Do it on our opposite side. Step, then hand, step through, and back, and pop up. Now, coach, why do I step first? Well, quick question. What's stronger, your arm or your leg? Tick, 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 10 to 1, it's your leg. Unless your name is Coach Gabe. Ha! Coach Joe's. Sorry, he's my friend. Love him. But, that being said, almost always your legs are a lot stronger than your arms are. So when we catch ourselves, we want to suppress our weight with the stronger thing first. So we're going to step out, foot, then hand. And step, come back, all the way up, and switch, and continue. Safety vaults, just like that. All right, so like I said, if we put it together, string together a little bit more fluidly, well, we get a significantly more fun workout. I really enjoy the safety vault workout. I really enjoy it when I stay low too. Right now I'm standing up in the back, but you can practice it from a squat where you stay down nice and low. This, in my opinion, only intensifies the workout because now you're in a deep and compressed squat, which makes your quads, hamstrings, glutes all have to work a little bit harder. So if you want to challenge yourself, do your safety step throughs from a deepened squat. Now, woo, safety vault's cool, it's fun, it's one of my absolute favorite vaults. If I've ever trained outside and I've seen a new wall and I want to vault that thing, I check my environment. I walk up, I approach it, make sure that it's stable, no bricks are going to break or fall off. The paint is not going to chip away and slide. It's not covered in dirt or grime. It's not wet. It's a big rule of parkour. Investigate your environment. So that way you can approach it the right way. Now for me to check that structural rigidity, I don't want to dive into it with a Kong, because if that whole wall tips over or topples over, something bad happens, my Kong is not the thing I want to be saving myself from. My safety vault is the thing I would save myself from. So you have to apply that, investigate your environment, and then also pair it with your basic vault, like your safety vault, so that way you can test your environment at a minimal level before you fling yourself out a wall, right? So take it step by step, just like we do with our vaults too, right? Starting on the ground, and then if you had, I don't know, like I have a handy dandy chest. It's a sturdy thing. I could step on it, I could vault over it, I could practice my movement with it. Am I gonna? No. Not right now. Don't have to. If I had an ottoman or something like that, then I would practice it. And that'd be what I would recommend for you guys to practice too. Practice, progress yourself up, and at your own level and at your own comfort, right? Now, Coach, if I've done a safety vault and I want to know the next thing, what's the next thing I do? Great. If you've got your friends, like, I don't know, maybe Ronan is trying to teach his buddies how to do some parkour stuff. They're not watching the live stream, but they're listening to his advice. So he would tell them, you know, here's your safety vault. But one of the cool, fun vaults that you can do after that, if you're fast enough and if you're strong enough, you can practice something like your speed vault or your simple vault, which your simple vault eventually becomes your speed vault. So we're going to break down those two skills, how they work together, and how they're kind of like really, I'd say, a big, big part of parkour and free running. When you guys see the stereotypical movements, some of them are those Kong vaults and those speed vaults. And it's like one of those really big photograph of parkour sort of movements. And if you guys have ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to get down nice and low into that squat like I talked about for our safety vault. I'm going to be using two hands on the floor like I would for a floor Kong, like so. But instead of pulling my feet through the middle, I'll be pulling my feet around off to the side, trying to get them in front of my hands. So I'll be placing my hands to one side, my feet towards the opposite. I'll reach to my right to start here. Boom, both hands planted firmly. My feet are going to jump over towards the left. Now it's very challenging for me to put my feet in front of my body when this arm is crossing it. So our simple vault, it's very simple to remember. No feet, and two hands becomes one at the end, right? Two very easy things that you guys can keep in your mind. The last thing, the third thing is don't land on the wall that you're vaulting over. That'd be a very bad time, right? So if I'm down low, like we said, and I'm doing my simple vault, I'll be reaching both hands to one side, starting with two and then finishing with one. As my body comes up to that arm, I have to move it out of the way. So I'll go hands down, feet across, and I move that arm out of the way, keep pushing with the one that's not in the way, right? That arm can still do some work, so I leave it that job to do so. So squatting down and practicing on our opposite side would look, again, very similar. Hands are going to go one side, but now, as my feet come across, my body is twisted up. I can't remove this arm. That would not work out. I have to remove the arm that is the blockage, right? So this case would mean my right arm has to move out of the way. So if my legs go to the right arm moves. If my legs go to the left arm moves, right? So it's simple to remember that too. I know it's a very simple vault, oh my goodness. So practicing our simple vault with that hand removal on both sides. And we can even reverse the movement and come back just like that. Start with two hands, one side, and jump the feet past them. And keep that hand there, because right, like I said, it's got a job to do. Now I can jump backwards and push myself back with my hand doesn't need to. So you can stay low, practicing simple vault over nothing, not even a little obstacle, literally over nothing. So that way you can really develop that skill. The further forward that you can move your feet, the better. But careful not to hurt your shoulder or your arm by moving so far that you slip or slide when you land. Okay guys? Be mindful of that. So, hands are out, and simple, come back, and simple, come back. Right? Whew. Simple vault's fun. Like I said, that's kind of like only a little bit of what I was really trying to get at though. Simple vault's like this step towards our speed vault, which is a way cooler, way more fun, and like I said, it's like one of those hot ticket vaults of parkour. It's one of those big pictures that you've ever seen of it. So our speed vault. If I had an obstacle like my chest, I would show you that a speed vault is a one-handed movement where, like our simple vault, I won't have my feet. But unlike our simple vault, I don't start with two, I just start with one. Now, this is a very small obstacle. This is not, honestly, the most practical way to practice your speed vault. When I talk about how you can work up from no obstacle to an obstacle that's maybe your torso height, your hip height, right? That's something that I want you to keep in mind. That this low little block will help us, but it will also misguide you. And it will lead you to believe that you can jump up and move over an obstacle better than you can. I would never start by just speed vaulting over something. I would always start with my safety vault first. Make sure I have the ability to jump my foot onto it. If I can jump my foot onto my obstacle, then I'm sure I can jump my foot over it. So you have to progress forward slowly and carefully. Maybe use your simple vault, and if that's not going to work out, and you're starting to fall, you have two hands on the wall and you can catch yourself with a safety vault. So that's a big part of how they're all tied together. Now, if I had a wall, we'd say, that'd be great. But we're going to pretend like I don't have a wall, and I'm going to continue with my speed vault, not my safety vault, not my simple vault. We're upgrading, we're evolving our Pokemon very quickly. We're going to put only the one hand down and try and cast yourself way out and pass that hand. This is the only action that I'm not going to ask you to do backwards, because jumping backwards under one arm is how people usually hurt their arm, right? So we're going to reach out with one hand. We'll start with our dominant hand, and we're going to try and pull our feet over and across like we did for our simple vault, right? Not too bad. Now I'm going to crawl myself backwards, try it on my opposite side. Alright, not too shabby. Crawl myself back and talk about how that's not exactly.
And we're back.
Wonderful. Hey guys, we apologize for the unfortunate issue that we experienced. Sometimes the devices that we have are not quite designed to process so much like an hour of live streaming. Sometimes they overheat. And so we appreciate you guys joining us after our brief delay. Now, not to waste too much time, but we were just practicing our speed vault. We had done it, and I was just talking about how it really, when we demonstrated the movement, we were still kind of tucked into a ball like that. And when you're tucked in and your body is all tight and condensed, you're not really actively doing your speed vault the best way that you could. Our goal would be to open and elongate our body out into this more aerodynamic sort of streamlined, straightened body that we're going to treat almost like we're running across the air when we're doing our final version of our speed vault. So I'm going to give myself a little more room and make sure that there's not anything I'm going to accidentally kick. Because if I'm too close to something and I try and do the movement with an extension in my body, I will definitely kick something on accident. So I'm moving back, adjusting myself, practicing my speed vault with the one hand out from that low squat and kicking my body into this slightly more open sideways position. I was tucked like this, but now my hips will be up higher, my feet will be out further, and I'll be more like that, a little bit more open. You guys can see I landed with my feet apart too. And that's because I'm literally treating it like I would a speed vault, and I'm pretending as if I'm taking a step. I'm running my top leg on air, right? So if I'm here and I'm doing my speed vault, my right leg, when my left hand goes down, my right leg will scissor kick over. Almost like I'm stepping on nothing, right? Or like I'm stepping on something. Like I'm here. speed vaulting over an obstacle. So open your body. Practice on both sides too. Expand. Make sure that you get a good reach. So practicing on the opposite side. Hand goes out. And again, the top leg is the one, when we go into this speed vault, that top leg is the one that almost takes a step on an invisible wall, and you come threading the opposite leg through. So, again, almost like I'm stepping that leg up, trying not to kick anything on accident, because I am in a slightly more condensed space. Now, a slight adjustment to my space, however, would mean that I can do this significantly more easily. So I have to reassess my situation because the movement now is taking up more space than it was before. So with that being said, that in mind, practicing here in my space just a little differently, so I can practice my speed vault on the floor. So this is by no means the more basic vault. This is where your safety vault and your simple vault inevitably will take you. It's to your speed vault. Now, trying to push ourselves forward a little bit more, the other hot ticket item that we're going to talk about, that other big movement, is going to be our floor Kong. But before we get into our floor Kong and our Kong vault, we're actually going to go get a quick sip of water. So you guys, go get some water. I'm going to go get mine. And we're going to join right on back over here, like I said, for that floor Kong and the Kong vault. See you in a second. Alright, so we're going to just, go over our floor Kong and how that becomes our Kong vault, or our Kong to precision, or a dive Kong. We're going to talk about those cool, fun variations in just a moment. Want to make sure, again, like I said, we have enough space for this. For us to be doing this movement at our fullest capacity, we'll probably be taking up as much room as our body is tall. So across the floor, if I were to lay my body across the floor, I'd say, oh, this is how much space this is going to take up. So I'm going to place myself at the end of that. So if I'm laying down, then I know I'm going to take up from about here to about here. So I'm going to go ahead and back myself on up to my feet. And now from here, it may look, and if you guys have done this movement with me, laid down and slid back, it may look like that's very far away, but it's a great goal. If you can floor Kong the size of your body, you're doing great things, right? So we're going to get into that nice low squat. We're going to stay in there. We're going to swing both arms up and out. And as we swing those arms, we're going to lean our body into the reach. And then lastly, we're going to jump. Now, it's important that when we hit the ground with our hands, our arms are straight and strong. So as I swing in, lean in, and jump, you guys maybe heard how hard it was that I hit the floor. I impacted with slightly more serious of impact force than most people would. And it's because I want to exaggerate the fact that I'm really going out to my arms and my hands, then post that I'm going to my feet. So again, nice slow squat. I'm going to swing, lean, and dive and jump a little bit into my hands, and try and push and pull my feet through. You guys can see I've traveled, again, nearly that body's length. You guys can do it from standing, but no matter what, you're going to have to squat down. So if we're standing here, we're getting ready to Kong down something, I'm going to put my arms back while I squat so that they'll be ready to swing when I jump. So, floor comb. Now I'm doing a very big one that's a little bit more advanced. When you guys first start, they're usually like, yeah, totally, here's a floor comb. And that's how a lot of people start. But you want to eventually, again, practice getting that squat deeper so that you're not here, but instead you're here. And then pull your hips through your hands, almost like you're gonna pull and land on your bottom. But if your hands are down, it makes it very challenging, so you have to learn also how to hand hop and bounce off your hands. And that straight arm position and a powerful forearm with a good flick will help you to create that hand hop, right? Now, a basic floor comb, a intermediate floor comb, an advanced floor comb. Regardless of where you're at, we want to practice them. Because the further you can get your feet past your hands on impact, the better that your Kong to precision will be. The better that your Kong to cat will be. The better that your Kong to dash will be. The better that your Kong gainer will be. Right? The more that you can get your feet past your hands, the better your arm projection is. That is super serious down there, late game, when you're starting to do more serious parkour stuff. But right now, focus on the hand hop. Pretty seriously focus on the hand hop. You can even put your hands a little bit closer, trying to exaggerate the fact that you're really traveling past it. But it should not feel like a jump with your legs. It should feel more like a dive with your body, almost like you're diving into a pool. So squat down. We're going to dive into our pool and push off of the floor, driving our feet past our hands. There we go. Now the more tucked you are, the easier it is to not drag or clip your toes. You guys want to stay tight as you pull yourself through. The bigger you dive, the harder the movement is to pull off. So mind yourself and push appropriately. All right, guys, whew, we are getting pretty close to the end there. Last thing that I want to talk about would be dive Kongs or Kong downs. Or imagining that I'm up on top of something high and that it's running across nice and wide and there's a drop. And I want to stand up there, dive, put my hands on the edge and pull myself over the edge and Kong down to the ground. That's a big awesome movement. I love those. Kong downs are great. Dive Kongs are a requirement for a Kong down, right? Or vice versa. A Kong down might be your requirement for your dive Kong. And this kind of goes person to person, but in every single case, Kong down and dive Kong go hand in hand together. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you guys to work on is not even a Kong skill. Though it'll feel like it in a moment. We're going to do a small kick to handstand. And when we kick to handstand, we're going to practice pulling our feet past our hands from that point. So I'll demonstrate that now. I can even use like this fun, cute little harmless object that will help to exaggerate where my hands are at. And as I do my little lunge and my little kick to handstand, I'm trying to push my feet in front of that hand placement. I do so by kind of using a little bit of a donkey kick sort of action. So again, if my hands are here, in alignment with this box, right there, trying to get my feet past them. I'm going to do a very light kick to handstand. Not all the way up to handstand though, just a little short. And then I'm going to drive my knees in like the opposite of a donkey kick, right? So now I've pulled my feet past my hand placement. Big part of that is that I also have to lever or lean my shoulders past my hands too. So I'll exaggerate that back over here like this. Hands are back here. In order for me to get my feet over there, I have to start putting my shoulders over my fingertips. Now you can see my arm is at an angle. Now when I pull my feet down, even if my feet fall directly under my chest is still past my hands, right? So I'm going to do that kick up. I'm going to lever out a little. Then I'm going to pull my feet down under my chest. Hands are ready to catch me if I need them. Now you guys can see I've traveled past where my hands were, past where that harmless obstacle was. Because it's off to the side, I'm not going to land on it, I don't want to hurt myself. One of the hardest parts of doing calm vaults and of doing a calm down is when you clip your toes, or you're afraid to clip your toes. You accidentally slam your knee, or you scrape your shin across whatever the obstacle is. I actually know a lot of people that stop doing parkour after their very first time doing that. It can really mess you up. But if you're strong enough, and you're smart enough, and you practice on the floor enough, then you can pull yourself over your obstacle without any injury. And anybody that approaches it appropriately is still likely to get hurt. Accidents happen, guys. There's no way around it. But the more you practice, the more you strengthen yourself, the more you stretch, the better off that your body is going to be when an accident does happen. The more prepared you'll be. So, we talked about a bunch of really cool stuff, even a cool little drill that you can do that's going to help you with, I would say, the hardest part of a calm is getting your feet past your hands. And especially if you're doing it off an obstacle or over an obstacle, that's really going to be super helpful. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a seat, get ready for some stretches, because we are almost, together for an hour now, and, I tell you what, boy, it was a lot of vaulting, a lot of squatting, a lot of talking. Let's take our seat in a butterfly, pull them in nice and deep, and flap out those butterfly wings, just a little bit, stretch out the hips, very nice. Good stuff, and we're going to go ahead and put both legs straight out into a pike. I want you to go ahead and just shake your knees out a little bit. Keep your posture and your body strong, nice tall spine. And flex the feet and point the toes. We're going to do that just a few times, kind of try and reach the knees back down towards the ground, point the toes, flex the foot again, and point the toe. Good. If you guys can, grab a hold of your feet, pull yourself down into your pike stretch. If you can't grab a hold of your feet, then I want you to follow after me and bend your knees ever so slightly. Grab the bottom of your calf, like so, and then squeeze your quad to lock your calf into the floor while keeping your torso under your knees. Nice. Now we have a firm place where we can grab and pull ourselves deeper into our stretch. Very close to the end there, and release. Good. We're going to figure four and roll our ankle out. Where we were at in that nice little squat, can get very tight and condensed on our legs, and it can cause some strain or stress on the knees and the ankles. So we want to make sure that we roll them out appropriately. Take your time to roll it both directions. I am going with that washing machine method for today's ankle roll. You guys can choose to follow, or you can stick to one direction and then switch halfway through. And we're just about to switch to our opposite ankle. Good. And uncross the leg, cross the opposite leg. Go ahead with that ankle roll. And again, don't forget to roll it in both directions. Nice. Almost done there with those ankle rolls. Good. Go ahead and replace the legs back to the front. You can shake out those knees just a little bit more. Cool. We're going to go ahead and put our hands down to I'm actually going to turn my hands so that my fingers are pointed backwards behind me, and I'm going to lean back just ever so slightly so I can stretch out my wrist and my forearm. Oh boy, I know I need that, especially after those vaults today. So, just leaning back a little bit to stretch out that arm. The extended bicep gets a little bit of a stretch too, getting it through the whole forearm and in the wrist itself. There we go. Going ahead and coming out of that. We're going to turn our hands around, press the back of our hand into the ground, and lock those elbows out, and lean back to stretch out the wrist the opposite direction. While we're here, just go ahead and give yourself a couple of half neck circles like we would in the start of our class. Good. Go ahead and come on off the wrist and interlock those fingers and just kind of roll them down a little bit. You can washing machine method for these ones today too. Good stuff. Now, we're going to go into what Coach Summer refers to as a jazz split, where one leg will be forward and one leg will be bent back behind us, like so. From our jazz split, I'm actually going to point my toe as tightly back as I possibly can and brace myself back on my arm behind me, where now I can squeeze to flex my quad and to push my hip up into the air to stretch the front side of my hip flexor. So we're going to do just a few of that on this side and then switch to our opposite side and really help to get that big giant joint in our body that's been helping us do all of our vaulting today. So big extension, big hip push forwards, and come back in. We're going to do that just a few more times. I like to go 5 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hold on number 5. We're going to get there and we're going to hold it for 10 seconds. So 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Release that knee. Turn over that leg at full extension and fold the other one in. And tightly curl that toe in, pull that knee out and across so that we are, even in this resting position, feeling a bit of stretch here. Now from that resting stretch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on number 5, we're going to lift and hold for 10 seconds, right? So 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. And extend that leg out. Keep it locked. Turn it over, straddle. Perfect. We're just going to slowly kind of close our legs and bring them together to meet in the middle. We're going to slide ourselves back to our little butterfly. And I will, from here, bid you all a farewell. I bid you adieu. Thank you. I appreciate you guys and your viewership. You're all such wonderful and lovely people. Appreciate all the shout outs, and I apologize again for all of our connectivity issues. Guys, stay fit and stay hydrated. Don't forget to stay clean. Have a wonderful time, guys. We'll see you later.